Good morning, this is Maria. I'm a demonstrator in Southern Ontario, and today I would like to focus on snowflakes. Yes, snowflakes. It was a bit cold when I got up this morning, and the other day, excuse me, there was actually some snowflakes. And when I was thinking snowflakes, I realized that the Snowflake Wishes stamp set and coordinating dies, I really had neglected them for Christmas cards. I was so busy using the new stamp sets, I forgot all about Snowflake Wishes. So to correct that, I've made a lot of cards with the snowflakes, and I mainly focused on sponging, making a background and putting the flakes on it. Let me show you, before I show you the card we're going to make, let me show you some cards that I've made. Here's one. Isn't that stunning? I've actually done sponging using the brushes, and I will explain the background, how to do it later. That is with Pacific Point, and here it is with Real Red, and you can do it in any color of cardstock, but these are just two. Now, I've got some other card samples that I'll show at the end of the video, so stay for the video. Okay, here's the card that I'm going to make with you today. It is sponging using the brush and two colors of blue, Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy, on Gorgeous Grape cardstock. These are the dies that I've used to make the snowflakes in gold foil. I've made 3 of them, a big one, a medium, a small, and then another small for a medium one actually for the inside. I'm actually going to put a small one in there. Okay, and I have gold embossed a sentiment from the stamp set, this one. So it's a little bit different than this. I've already done that. Okay, let's get the supplies and we'll get going. Whoops, daisy. Take my... Okay, now I'm going to... I put an extra piece of paper on my workspace. You can see I've already done some sponging. It does make a bit of a mess, but oh, is it worth it? Okay, we'll get my supplies here. The Gilded Gems. So we have a thick basic white card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then on top of that is a piece of Gorgeous Grape cardstock, which is 4 by 5 1/4, which I'm going to be sponging. I will leave that there. For the inside, another piece of Gorgeous Grape, 4 by 5 1/4, and basic white, which is 3 3/4 by 5. I'll put that aside for now, as well as this. I don't want to get any ink on it. Then these are the embellishments I'm going to use, the Gilded Gems. And these are the snowflakes that I've already die cut, and the sentiment as well. In addition, I'm going to use some white acrylic paint with water to splatter on afterwards to mimic snowflakes. Okay, so brush, 2 colors of blue, and I've got an extra brush that I'm going to use with the black. So the way I'm going to do it is, if you'll notice the finished card, the inside is relatively uninked, and I want to keep it that way. And then with the lighter of the blues, I will brush probably around there, and then the darker I will bring in only so far, giving the effect of gradation of color. Then the black is going to be just on the edge. That's my plan. So we'll start with Misty Moonlight and our lovely blender brushes. And we'll start in from the outside, and just with circular motions, apply the color. You can see why you need to have some sort of paper to protect your work surface. And be prepared to get some ink on your fingers. So we're coming in, what, about an inch and a half. Doesn't really matter. Then to do the top, rather than leaning over your work, turn your paper around. And if you feel comfortable holding your brush like this, that's fine. I find I have more control if I hold my brush like this. But it's entirely up to you. I have arthritis in my fingers too, so I have to hold my brush a little differently. So yeah, I find this stamp set has been largely neglected, I'll use that word, in favor of a lot of the new sets that are in the catalog. This is one that's been carried over from last year. And I've been having so much fun with the snowflakes and blending backgrounds and thinking of other backgrounds that I can use. I've had a lot of fun with it. And like I said, I've got some other sample cards to show you. So this is now Night of Navy, and I am not changing brushes because this brush is all for the blue family. Okay, so I'm not going to go as far. I'm just going to probably go about here because I want to go from uninked to light ink to dark ink. Again, I'll start at the bottom. And I don't know if you can see the difference in the color. You see the dark blue, Misty Moonlight, and uninked. Yeah, it was a cold morning. When I got up this morning, it was -5 centigrade. So it was nice to hear the furnace kick in. Although when we get into the middle of winter, -5 will seem tropical. Everything is relative, right? Okay, so there we have, just smooth that out a little bit. There we have the two colors of blue. Now I'm going to, I'll just close my other ink pad if it falls on the floor. Miller's Law, Murphy's Law, whatever, states that if a peanut butter sandwich falls on the floor, it will always fall peanut butter down, side down. The same with an ink pad. Okay, now I'm going to use another blender brush just for the black. And I'm going to just apply it along the edges and in the corners. There, I think that does it. It doesn't take that long to do. There you can see it almost glows, doesn't it? The Gorgeous Grape. So Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and then black on the edges. Now I wanted to use this with the paintbrush, and what I did, okay, this one I've used a lot, as you can see, is I'll take a little bit of acrylic paint I'll just take a little bit of water from my brush, put it in there. I don't need much. Whoops, there it goes. And these brushes, to unscrew, they go the opposite of what you would think. So I'll take a little bit of acrylic, and I want this quite watered down. And I'll use this, and I will Now the splatter does kind of go in places where you don't want it to go, so don't have, like, say, your cell phone or your iPad or something right beside here, because you'll get splatters. Now it is acrylic paint, so if it, while it's wet, it just wipes off very easily. So I keep a paper towel handy to clean off any excess paint, and we'll just let that dry a bit. But there we have stars or snow or whatever you want to call it. Now, while that's drying, I will get the snowflakes and start getting them ready. And I'm going to use the gluing technique where I have a sponge with some glue in the bottom. And I'll turn my snowflake over and I'll apply glue to the back. And I do believe that's dry already. And I'll put one here. And I like to go over the edge. Well, I didn't quite make it, but I do like to go over the edge if I can. Now I'll get another one, turn it upside down. Isn't this gold stunning against the Gorgeous Grape? Get a little bit more glue from in there. Now it needs to be in a container that is airtight. I've had this sponge and glue container for, oh, it's got to be a couple of years. So I have to think in terms of where is the sentiment strip going to go. Okay, I've lost it for a minute. There we go. I think it's going to go right here. So there's our 3 snowflakes. And so I'm going to add this to the card base. Oh, here's the sentiment. Oh, it's going to go right here. All right, why don't I add that? Okay, and what I'm using, instead of dimensionals, there are whole sheets of dimensionals, so you can cut them to the size you want. Saves you a bit of time, and you don't have to worry about individuals. So you cut it to the size that you want. Have you noticed them in the catalog? Okay, I think I've got the package here. Yeah, here we go. They're called foam adhesive sheets. And they come in sizes like this. I think there's 10 in a package, if I can, no, sorry, there's 6 in a package. So you just cut it to the size that you want. Put it on the back. Peel the back off and place it on where you want it. Isn't that a lot easier than individual dimensions? Dimensionals. Okay. Here is, I'm just going to move this and bring out my Tombow. Okay. I think my Tombow is on its last leg. Come on, don't do this to me now. Okay. Just going to have to turn it off while I go get another Tombow. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry for the interruption. You know, you think you've got everything all prepared, and there's always something. So, now I'll do the inside. And what I'm going to do for the inside is I'm just going to use my brush and just the ink that's left on here. I'll just apply a little bit of color in the one corner. And I'll take Get my silicone mat out. And my glue. And we'll just put that in the corner. Now I'm not going to stamp anything on the inside. We'll leave that to when you're ready to give it somebody. Almost didn't do it right. There we go. Now, a word of warning, this is very addictive, which means that if you start doing this technique on one card, you'll end up making a whole bunch of them. So this is one that I made. Okay, here's my sample. See, I tend to go off. Here's my sample. I forgot to put the embellishments on. Alrighty. It's always nice, your pick tool, which has the putty at the end, that helps you to put your embellishments on. There we go. So, my sample and the card we just made. And here is the one in red. Actually, I've made two in red. This one is the glitter vellum, which probably is, they're too flimsy actually, but it makes a nice card. Okay, and here it is with this paper right here, the golden rose, rose gold metallic specialty paper. This was a hard paper to die cut because it has this plastic backing on it. So the snowflakes were very hard to die cut with this. Didn't like to go through the plastic. Here's the blue one that I showed you. And then what I did, there's also stamps in here of snowflakes. Different sizes. So what I did was I gold embossed a panel, and then I die cut some more gold snowflakes, layered them, and made this slimline card. Then another technique I did, I used a stencil or a decorative mask, and I applied, this is balmy blue ink on it, and I die cut 3 snowflakes, layered them, and applied them to a die cut stitched circle. So that's a different technique as well with snowflakes. So as you can see, I went a little crazy with the snowflakes, but there we go. We've got a technique for sponging backgrounds. Let's bring out our card that we made to the forefront. So some ideas for snowflakes. If you have any questions, just leave them in the description, in the comment section below. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, I'm looking for 1,000 subscribers so that I can do YouTube Live. So thank you very much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.